So going to be doing a double review this week of Nanatsu no Taizai chapters 59 and 60. 59 for the most part was kind of more so along the lines of comedic. It was mainly just Gowther showing who Gowther really is, and how once again kind of just cementing that he can't take social cues, and he just like doesn't understand like, hey, you shouldn't say that. You know, he doesn't have a lot of common sense when it comes to social cues, like saying that Diane is lying about her height, and saying, you know, about King stinking or whatever. So it was just really cementing that fact in. But there were a couple of extra things in the chapter as well. The biggest being that we found out the traitor, which we've been wanting to know this for a while, was Merlin, the sin of gluttony, one of the people that we haven't seen yet. And I thought this was going to take a while to get this information because, you know, we've been gathering up the sins one by one. And the fact that Gowther has this information makes me question it as well. Like, so because Merlin knocked out Meliodas to, you know, start off the rebellion or whatever, the trading of them and whatnot. So if Merlin did that, why didn't Gowther interfere? And, you know, I guess Gowther heard about it or whatever, but Gowther doesn't know anymore. And there's a possibility Gowther could be, you know, fishy as well. Maybe there's something in Gowther's closet that he's hiding, so to speak. Definitely, I mean, I wouldn't say that Gowther is like evil or whatever. Then again, you know, we don't really know much about Gowther. But as of right now, I don't trust Gowther 100%. Maybe that's just me being suspicious. Maybe it's like, if you know about this, what else do you know? And it also makes me curious as to when we're going to finally run into Merlin, the sin of gluttony, because, you know, once we do run into them, I'm imagining that Meliodas ain't going to take too kindly to getting betrayed and knocked the hell out by Merlin. And I'm interested to see how strong Merlin is, because to be able to knock Meliodas out, either he did some trickery or she did some trickery, or there was something else involved. But going back to Gowther, while Gowther definitely seems to lack many emotions and empathy for many different situations, there is a slight amount of empathy that is shown in chapter 59, because he faked the funk just to not hurt that kid's feelings. So he definitely understands somewhat of how you should act, well, at least when it comes to kids, because, you know, he faked his hair and, you know, acted that certain way to appease to that kid. So at the very least, there is some empathy in Gowther. He's not completely emotionless. So chapter 59, the biggest thing being the revelation of the sin of gluttony being the one who betrayed Meliodas and them. Definitely pretty good chapter. I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. It was good stuff. For the most part, definitely a lot of comedic aspects, and sometimes you need the comedy to make things lighthearted, especially. You don't always want action, drama, intensity. So for what it was good. It was a good chapter. Nothing extravagant, but it was a good chapter. Now 60, we got quite a bit of stuff in there. First of all, Griamore seems as though he's faking his death. At the very least, he doesn't want to return to the kingdom because his father thinks that he's dead, and that's because he knows what the Holy Knights really are, whether they're Veronica and whatnot. So Griamore will probably see him in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the future, but he definitely ain't returning to the Holy Knights. Now, the relationship between Margaret, Princess Margaret, and Gilthunder seems to be a very complex one, because first of all, they had history together. Gilthunder was her bodyguard as a child, but now she's locked up and enslaved, and that's because she doesn't want to go along with the Holy Knights, because she wasn't really into that whole thing. The thing is, though, with Veronica being her sister, while they didn't get along necessarily, I would assume, like, why wouldn't Veronica say, you know what, maybe we don't agree, but I don't agree with my sister being locked in a dungeon. That also makes you wonder, did Veronica even know about Margaret being locked in? Maybe Veronica thought just Margaret left, or Margaret ain't obeying. It could be many different things. It could have been that they lied to her. It could have been that she just lacked knowledge of where her sister actually was. So definitely Princess Margaret and Gilthunder have a complex relationship, to say the least. First of all, with her being inside of that prison cell, and it seems as though Gilthunder actually, you know, he cares for her in his way. And I wouldn't be surprised if Gilthunder, while he's going along with the Holy Knights, they either are giving him misinformation and he thinks he's doing it for a particular reason that is good for the better of the kingdom, or he himself is just working because he has no other choice. He knows he probably can't defeat Helbram and Hendrickson and all of them, so maybe he's doing it in a way to be like an insider so that he can eventually take them down, possibly, if the 7 deadly sins can't do it. I wouldn't be surprised, because he does care about Margaret, and I see that somewhere in the character there's goodness to him. He's not totally an evil asshole. I mean, at the end of the day, he does have Margaret in a cell, but he seems to care for her. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the lines, Gilthunder actually, you know, betrays the Holy Knights and says, you know what, this is it. I was waiting for the right opportunity. Maybe he doesn't get it. Maybe he does. We also got a little bit of advancement as far as Gira finding out that that's her father. I'm curious to see what her mental status is going to be, because she just, in the last chapter, at the very end of it, destroyed that head that was her father, that was in a sense her father, and she killed it without any hesitation. And now that she got the medallion, and when she puts two and two together, she's probably going to freak the fuck out. And this is also going to probably push that the new generation of Holy Knights, little by little, aren't going to listen to Helbram and them, and maybe there'll be a rebellion in and of the Holy Knights themselves. Maybe the new generation will be like, you know what, we're going to rebel. I don't think that it's going to work out, though. I honestly don't see Gira and Jericho and the new generation really taking out the older generation, because it was even stated in this chapter that the old generation of the Holy Knights are stronger than them. The new generation, the reason why they can control them is because they're not on the level of the old generation. So we definitely got a little more confirmation as far as that goes. And regardless of what action Gira takes, she has to think cautiously, because she does love her little brother, and I could see them using him as ransom. So she got to move cautiously with what she does next. If she indeed decides, you know what, I got to overthrow them, they're probably planning to do this to us. Not only that, she loved her family. She loved her father, and she cares for her little brother, so she ain't going to take this light. Now, Hendrickson seems to be under the impression that why they're doing this, why they're letting demons come over, is so that the Holy Knights can get some recognition and be once again in the spotlight and the glory and be above like anything else. Like, they're the heroes, they're the big guys. And while he's talking all this, it seems as though maybe this is what he's under the impression of their goal is. But if you look at Helbram, he's just quiet the entire time. He's paying attention to the whole. He don't give a shit about what Hendrickson has to say. And I wouldn't be surprised if the reason that is because Helbram has a whole different goal in mind. Maybe Helbram is thinking like, yo, the reason why I'm doing this is because maybe he wants to be a demon. Maybe he wants to transcend. Maybe he wants to bring demons in to conquer the world. And he'll probably fuse or use some sort of DNA to become half demon himself, maybe a full demon. I highly doubt that Helbram in any which way is doing this so that he could get some glory for the Holy Knights. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy. He's doing all this fucked up shit to the new generation. Well, he did it to the old generation like Gira's father, so he's probably going to do it to the new generation. He is not doing this for glory. There is far more to it than meets the eye. I'm not going to lie, that whole of demons coming out totally reminds me of Yu Yu Hakusho, Chapter Black, the Sensui arc, where the demons are coming out from Demon World and the hole is ripping. You see the arms coming out and shit like that. That is totally like, it has to be inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho because it totally reminds me of it, which is cool. Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the greatest shonens of all time, definitely represented. It's not like it's a ripoff. What? They can have a hole to Demon World. Inspiration, homage, love it. End of the chapter, I found out it was a bit fucked. Like, none of the sins wanted to help out Meliodas, really. Like, this is totally not your typical shonen where it's like, don't worry, we will help you get back your treasure. We love you, we're friends. They totally like, yo, dog, that's your own problem. Get the fuck out of here. And then, like, he's totally like, again, I'm very fishy of the relation between Meliodas and Elizabeth. If Elizabeth is related to him, that's going to be disgusting as ever because he just, like, put his face in her fucking shirt and he's just, like, enjoying, you know, kind of doing dirty things to her. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, but we'll leave that for another time. Overall, Chapter 60, bomb-ass chapter, a lot of information, a lot of good stuff, advancement, finding a little bit more about what, at the very least, Hendrickson thinks the plan is, but overall seeing that there's a hole to demon, you know, demons are coming out, and shit's gonna get real, and I wouldn't be surprised within the next few months if we get a big war. 8.5 for that bad boy. Let me know what you guys think. First of all, do you think that Helbram is actually going with what Hendrickson thinks he's going with, and that's that he just wants to get glory, or you think that Helbram himself wants to become a demon? You know, what do you think is Helbram's goal? Also, Guilt Thunder, do you think that there's some good in him? Maybe he's doing this in a sense for a greater good. Maybe he believes there's a greater good, or you think he's going to turn on the Holy Knights? And how do you think Gira's going to react now knowing that her father was turned into a demon because of Helbram and them? Do you think she's going to charge at them? She's going to think smart? Gira better be smart, because if not, she's going to get fucked. That's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to see when those fucking demons come out, because shit is going to get crazy, and I can't wait. Taizai is getting even more epic, and it just keeps getting better. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.